reality is the part of the imagination, then I've decided not to change anymore, but to accept as it is.
Well, it's hard to believe it sometimes, but everything will work out fine. Well, it's hard to believe it sometimes, but everything's gonna work out fine.
Gotta get out and live.
Like they say, it's hard to believe it sometimes, but everything's gonna work out fine.
What is the coolest job in the world to have? You know, if you were to ask me that question back at age 17, and I'm talking realistic jobs, you know, for your current phase of life where you are, I probably would have told you to be a ski lift operator at the Sundance ski resort in Utah. To me, that was the bomb. I mean, you had a season pass, and I was a huge skier back then. I went all the time. Real aggressive skier, too. Maybe that's one reason I have knee problems now. But yeah, I mean, I was hitting the moguls, doing aerials. Good times. The more time I spent on the slope back then, the happier I was. And then I got paid, too. That's even cooler. And then another cool part, back then at least, I don't know if it's changed, but man, hot girls. Talking at that ski resort in the winter, one cute girl after another, hanging around hot girls, skiing, hanging out with cool dudes. I mean, life was good if you could get the job. And I will tell you, again, I don't know how it's changed, and it could be completely different now in 2010. But back in the 80s when I was 17, I looked at that job as a ski lift operator like, whoa, pie in the sky. There's no way I could ever get that. A lot of truth to that too, because Sundance was at that time was, you know, kind of a clique. You know, you didn't get on there unless you knew somebody, or they knew you well. So for an outsider to come in, get one of those very limited jobs, very tough. Okay, and if you haven't figured it out by now, welcome to another, life philosophy video from Nutnfancy. And I used my father's help at that time. And this is another Lessons of My Father video. Springboarding off my other one, Depussification. Still out there. Love it. I talked to my dad. I was like, hey, Dad, I'd really love to become a ski lift operator. I mean, it'd be awesome. You know, my dad kind of, didn't think it was that awesome of an idea because he knew it didn't pay that much. And he wasn't super impressed that you got a season pass. But, he weighed in with his fatherly advice, which absolutely turned out to be accurate. He goes, well, you need to let them know that you're serious about that job. I was like, Dad, you don't understand. I mean, they have all kinds of guys. And I had already gone into the office. I talked to him. I saw the stack of applications. It was like that thick. I'm like, how in the world am I ever going to get on there? They don't even know me. I had no connections, knew nobody at the resort. He goes, you got to let them know you're serious about the job. And he said, you got to go up there and bug them and let them know you're motivated, that you will be one of their best workers, their highest reliability workers. You're not afraid of hard work. Get up there. You need to go up there at least twice a week. Find out who the head cheese is. Touch base with him. He better know your name. I was like, okay. Sounds kind of weird, kind of hard to do, but I want this job. Took my dad's advice, drove my rusted out 1966 VW Bug up there twice a week. Got to know the dude up there. He's still there. Say hi for me. Ralph. What's up, Ralph? He still works at Sundance. He'll remember this story. And when I went up before the season started. So it's like, mid-July, August. Actually, back June I started. And I'd go up. And of course, there's no snow on the slopes. And back then, they didn't mountain bike. So the lifts were closed and they're doing lift maintenance. I'd go into the office. Hey, was Ralph around? And they already had my application, by the way. Tucked in, the huge stack. They go, no, he's up on the slope, about a mile up. You can come back later. I'm like, no, I won't come back. I'll go check him out. So I would actually hike up the slope to go meet Ralph. Again, getting back to that concept, let them know you really want the job. Demonstrate to them you are serious, that you're going to be a good worker. I'm going to run out of time in this video. I need to tell you that right now. Hiking all the way up, First day I went up, I see Ralph and his helper up there on the lift. Finally got up there, I'm winded. Long hike, uphill the whole way. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, my name's Nutnfancy. Real name insert here. And he goes, yeah, what do you want? And I was like, well, I'd really like to be one of your lift operators this upcoming season. I'm really motivated. I'd be a really good worker. I guarantee I'd do good work for you. He's like, okay. It's weird. They don't see that. Who does that? Hike down. And I'm get back home and go, God, I got to do that twice a week. And I was talking to my dad. I was like, twice a week? He's like, yes, twice a week, at least twice a week. I was like, yeah, but I'm going to irritate him. They're like, trust me, it'll work. Trusted my dad. Next time that week, hiked up, same thing. Ralph was up there working on the lifts. Hey, Ralph, what's up, man? He's like, yeah, didn't we just see you? I'm like, yeah, you did. But I'm telling you, I'm serious. Guess what? I repeated that process. I won't say twice a week, at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, to the point I would crest the hill. Ralph would see me coming and go, okay, we see you, thank you. He probably thought I was the weirdest dude in the world, man. But you know what? They knew who I was. I guarantee you they knew who I was. And I guarantee you when Ralph came down off that slope, he had a story to tell. Hey, that dude came over again. Really? What dude? Well, that Nutnfancy guy. That kid, he was in the office too. Real nice kid. Hopefully I gave a good impression to the office people. That's very important. You got to be consistent across the board. You got to be genuine. And everybody has a say in whether you're going to get that job or not. It's not just Ralph. The office girls. You know what? I liked him. You ought to hire him. Then Ralph goes, well, I think I'll hire him. This went on for a couple months. Like I said, here comes the season. It was October. The snow's flying. I really laid a groundwork to get the job. I was waiting for that phone call. And they usually didn't hire their lift operators until maybe like a week before the season, maybe even during the season. Ring, ring. Hey, congratulations. We want you as a lift operator. By the way, the snow's flying. We'll see you up here at 8 in the morning tomorrow morning. That's how they worked back then. Waiting. The snow flew. Phone rings. It's Sundance. I'm like, rock on. I'm all excited. Pick the phone. Yeah, hey, we really like to hire you on. I'm like, stoking. Great. It's like, yeah, we want to bring you on as a parking lot attendant. I'm like, excuse me? Yeah, we'd like to bring you on as a parking lot attendant. Dude, you talk about a slap in the face. That, to me, back then, at age 17, was a slap in the face. I'm not even kidding you. I still remember to this day, I'm like, I put all that work in. I proved to you guys that I want, that I'd be a good lift operator for you, and you want me to be a parking lot attendant, which paid less, which wasn't nearly as prestigious. And I said, okay, when do you want me to be up there? And 8 actually they didn't say 8, they said like 6 in the morning, we need you up here, and you need to be shoveling walks because there's snow all over them. Oh, okay, click, hung up the phone. Conference with my dad. Dad, I got ripped off, man. This sucks. He goes, well, you know what? You can still be a lift operator. I was like, well, they hired me on as a parking lot attendant. To me, it seems like they're trying to tell me they don't want me. I was like, no, the way you need to look at it is you got your foot in the door. And maybe they're not totally convinced on who you are and what you can do for them. With that foot in the door, you can turn it into gold. Another lesson from my father. And he was absolutely right. I had to overcome my hurt feelings for not being brought on as a, lift operator. Oh, and by the way, keep in mind, I was like the youngest person on that resort that was hired that year. Absolutely. Everyone else was like 20, 21. Here I'm 17. It didn't even dawn on me back then that, dude, the reason they brought you on as a parking lot attendant is because you're so young. There's a certain level of responsibility and, with it being a lift operator. That's a whole nother story. So over that night, I was like, again, I'm going to trust in Dad, and I'm going to show up at 6 in the morning. I'm taking the job. I wanted a lift operator. I'm getting a parking lot attendant. Kind of sucks. I'm going to be the best parking lot attendant they ever had. And that is another key point I want to bring out in this video. Showed up 6 in the morning. Sure enough, man, it wasn't just parking lot attendant. You had to chip all the walks and the areas free of ice. It was hard work shoveling snow. They didn't have snow blowers back then. It was back-breaking work for like 2 hours, even before the resort opened. Well, I could go on and on with this story. Let me just tell you, I was a parking lot attendant, working my butt off, sometimes showing up 5 in the morning, and absolutely applying myself, being the most diligent parking lot attendant they ever had, for about a month and a half. After a month and a half, I was promoted to the lifts. Awesome. Promoted to the lifts, man. So I reached my goals, and back then they kind of had a hierarchy of lifts of where you could go. About a month later, I was promoted lift wide. I mean, I could go all the way to Mandan. They trusted me to go to any lift and get the job done. And they knew that I wouldn't screw things up. I'd be responsible. And so I had basically free range of the resort. Sundance Ski Resort, the coolest job I could possibly imagine at age 17. And yeah, I was given kind of a crap sandwich with that hiring, but I listened to my dad, and I'm so glad I did. Lessons of my father: workers are few. That's the topic of this video. You know, here in 2010, workers are indeed few. If you are an employer, a small businessman, a small businesswoman, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Finding reliable, diligent employees capable of hard work is very difficult. In fact, I would say it's probably the most difficult task you have as an employer, finding these people. Now, we could sit back and lament this and go, God, that sucks, man. Society sucks. Sucks bad. You know, why is it like that? Our world sucks. You know, our generation sucks. That's not where I want to approach this subject. Because you, the audience member or TMPer that's watching this video, can benefit from this. Okay, what am I talking about? Well, if I have a field, and in this field I have a whole bunch of weeds growing, then I have this beautiful flower growing out, do you think that flower is going to stand out in that field? It's a stupid example, I know, but you know what I'm saying. In other words, if you are the hard worker, the diligent worker, the one that is trustworthy and that can apply him or herself, you will stand out in this field of mediocrity. Okay? First concept I would like to cover: progression of trust. That is normal for most jobs. Just like my Sundance example. Came on as a parking lot attendant, had to be proven and gain their trust to be promoted upwards at that time to lift operator. That's normal for every job. A lot of people of our current generation think this is a ripoff, that they are being, somehow slighted by this process. What? I have to be a dishwasher first? That sucks. Well, take it from me, I was a dishwasher. Also at Sundance Ski Resort, this was like even years before that time, I was like age 15. And from that job, I also had to work up. That's normal. It's normal to be a dishwasher. To get a progression of trust, you have to prove yourself. Okay, you have to prove yourself as reliable, number one. You will never be trusted if you are unreliable. For instance, if they called me up and said, hey, we had a huge snowstorm, we need you here at 5 in the morning. They don't want to hear on the other end, oh man, I can't do that. You as an employer don't want to hear that. You need it done. It's a task that has to be done. You want someone reliable that can do it. Okay, not someone who's feeling entitled that they're too good to do that menial task. What did I say? I was like, roger that, I'll see you there. Boom, I was there. Like clockwork. 5 in the morning, yeah, it sucked. I went to bed at 8 in the prior evening. I sucked it up, man. And I did what I said I was going to do. Again, my dad's guiding me. He's like, hey, if they need you, you better do it. I did it. And that builds a trust. Be reliable. Don't say things you're going to do and not do them. Okay? And don't say, oh yeah, I'll be there, and then you don't show up. Kiss of death, man. Because, talk is cheap. There's so much talk in this world. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And it never gets done. I would prefer you talk less and do a lot more. Okay? When you're talking about being a reliable worker. Also, in the progression of trust, have some initiative. Don't be the kind of employee that has to be told everything. Let's say I'm out there and they give me this one stretch of sidewalk, to chip off of ice up at Sundance. Again, I'm drawing upon this example. So I'm chipping, I clear that one stretch, and over here there's like 3 more stretches that are also snowy, but they didn't specifically tell me I had to clear those. And so when they come out, I'm sitting around chewing the fat with my friends. Yeah, that's cool. They're walking around like, hey, this kind of needs to be clean too. I didn't do that. I was like, you know what? That needs to be clean too. And guys I was working with, even back then, they're just like, oh, dude, they didn't say we had to do that. I was like, trust me, dudes, it has to be done. Let's just do it. And so they come out, and what do they see? Nutnfancy, hard at work. Hey, he did the job I gave him, and then he went the extra mile and did that. What would you think as the boss? Would you say, wow, I could really use this individual in this other place? That it will be the natural progression, the progression of trust. But you have to prove yourself, reliable and having some initiative. Don't have to be told everything. Okay, that sucks. Another point I'm going to call it Tackle the Dirty Jobs. And no, we're not talking about Discovery Micro. He's hilarious, by the way. I love that show. We're talking about the jobs that nobody wants to do. Again, you don't need to look at this, or you shouldn't look at this as a burden upon you. Let's say you're a dishwasher. I was a dishwasher. What was one of the worst jobs I had? Cleaning out the grease trap. That pretty much sucked. The deep fryer. That was horrible work. Greasy, nasty. Has to be done. Someone has to do it. When I found that out as a dishwasher, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And, I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like, I've got to clean out the grease trap. It still sucked. But I did it, and I did it without being asked, and it paid off huge. The boss, again, will notice that. Use those dirty jobs, the jobs that nobody wants to do, the menial tasks. They've got to be done. Everyone's kind of like staring away, when they know that job needs to be done. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. That's pretty much everybody. Hey, does anybody volunteer to clean the deep fryer? Everyone's like, I don't know, what time is it? If you step forward, again, you're the you're the flower in a field of weeds. Dude, awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You step up, you keep doing it. Man, if you tackle the dirty jobs, the hard jobs nobody wants, again, you're totally going to stand out from the rest. And hard work won't kill you. Don't be afraid of hard work. That's another gift from my father. I mean, we had a construction company. I did hard construction work growing up, landscaping, building fences, building houses. Been there, done it. I told you about in depussification, building the swimming pool. We dug it for weeks before my dad brought in, the excavator. That was a gift from my father. Hard work will not kill you. Understand that. And work hard, work smart, but dudes, tackle those dirty jobs. Next thing I'll say is while you do that, and this is a very important point when you talk about becoming a reliable and awesome worker, is the mark of excellence. Okay? Here's some more philosophy. Why do you have a job? Why do you want to work? Forget the obvious. I already know, I want to have money, Nutnfancy. Well, of course, everybody wants to have money. Don't make that your primary motivation. I know it seems counterintuitive. What? But I want money. And it was a motivation for me at age 17. I mean, I wanted to have spending money. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's that balance too. Which jobs will pay the most. There's nothing wrong with shopping for different jobs, getting the best salary you can for that hard work you're going to put in. That's not what I'm saying. You're marketable. As a good worker, you're extremely marketable. And you should be able to command a certain price. But don't get hung up on the money. When you get hung up on the money, your motivations become skewed. And most people, if not all people I know, where their whole motivation is money, they're not good workers. In fact, they're just the opposite. They're the lazy ones. They're the shirkers. They're the unreliable ones. They're trying to get by. They think life owes them an existence, a good living, and if they're in position with any assignment of hard work. Those guys are not the people I want for my employees. They cause me problems. Get past the money. Okay? When I say mark of excellence, why do you do a good job? Okay, let's go back to that sidewalk, chipping ice off of it. Why would I do a good job? Am I going to get paid anymore? No. I punched a time card. It's going to be the same hourly wage back then. You know why I do a good job? Because my name's on it. Okay? My name is stamped on that job. Hey, who cleaned the sidewalk off? That kid over there. Nutnfancy. Insert real name here. That's a good job. I mean, I ain't seen it done that good ever. People will notice that. Hey, who cleaned those dishes? That kid over there. And likewise, if you do a crappy job and you try to skirt the hard work, or get out of it and just say, I don't want to do this. You do a crappy job, that will be noticed too. Hey, who did this? This sucks. It has to be totally redone. Hey, Bob, can you come in here and do this job right? So-and-so over here didn't do it. You should have a pride inside here. Again, everything's internal. Okay, it's not because I'm trying to impress those people. I'm trying to impress me. I want to feel good. There is a certain sense of satisfaction that comes from a job that is completed to a very high quality level. If you haven't done it, you need to do it because you'll feel so good. And you can sit back and look at your work and fold your arms and go, yeah, man, that feels good. That feels good. I did that. And if you haven't felt that, I hope you can feel that. And that is its own reward. If you can make that your primary motivation, I guarantee you the money will follow. The money will follow. You probably won't even have to worry about it because you'll be a commodity. A hard, intelligent, self-motivated worker with initiative is a commodity. I don't care what the economy's doing. Let's say we go full depression, which I think we will see here in the United States of America. Work still has to be done as long as we don't go into WROL. Businesses are still there. They still need people. They need reliable people. Who's going to rise to the top? There's exceptions. There's politics that come into play. Well, this person got the job because he knows so-and-so. I know. That'll always go on. But I'm talking generally across the board. That worker who has a mark of excellence on his or her work that establishes that reputation will be a commodity. And people will compete to get that individual. Oh, that's so-and-so. I heard about them. Maybe they look at your resume. They call your references. Hey, how's Bob? I'll tell you, he was one of the best workers I had. I never heard a complaint from him. He was always on time. He was punctual. He was funny. People liked working with him. He was positive. Everywhere he went, the room lightened up because he had such a positive outlook. We really hate to lose Bob. Ooh, what are you going to think as a prospective employer? I want Bob. That's the kind of employee I want because it makes my life easier as an employer. I can rely on Bob. I know he's going to get the job done, that I don't have to spoon feed him and constantly check up on him. And, he's not here at work again. You see what I'm saying? That's what most people are. Field of weeds, man. The mediocrity. I don't want to work. Mark of excellence. It's its own reward. Own reward. As you're striving to get that awesome job that you want or become a really awesome worker, I want you to ignore the naysayers. You need to expect them too. Going back to the Sundance example, I told guys, hey, I want to be a ski lift operator at Sundance. My friends would laugh. They're like, what? It's like, dude, who do you know up there? I'm like, nobody. They're like, you're 17 and you don't know anybody and you think you're going to be a lift operator. Again, things may have changed now, but back then, that's the way it was. I was like, yeah, I do. You have to believe in yourself, by the way. That's huge. Believe in yourself and blow off the naysayers. They're going to show up in your life. They're going to tell you that there is no way that you're going to achieve what you're trying to do. And they act like they're your friends, man. They're like, oh, dude, I'm just trying to save you some disappointment, and sucking the wind through the teeth. I hate that. Like, oh, man, I got to tell you, there's no way you're going to achieve success. Sorry, it's a good thought, but no. Blow those guys off, man. Just drive on. Make it happen. Visualize in your mind in great detail where you want to be, what you want to do. To become a pilot in the U.S. Air Force, I totally had to do that. I had to visualize it in my mind. I visualized me climbing into that T-38, strapping on the G-suit, the helmet, getting into my own jet, taking off, and doing a solo mission. It was a vivid vision, if you will. And it's what motivated me through countless obstacles. School, tests of all sorts and descriptions, pilot training, Air Force style, very difficult, lots of obstacles, lots of people along the way. Dude, there's no way you can do that. And then when Dad got killed in the plane, in our private plane, even more naysayers showed up. Like, dude, man, you're not going to fly anymore, are you? I was like, I think I am. They're like, what? Like, oh, you shouldn't do that. It's really not good. Blow off the naysayers. Be true to your dream. Be true to your vision. There's thousands of people that are going to show up, not thousands, but a lot of people who will show up and tell you that you're stupid to do what you're trying to do. Be a lift operator, be a pilot, be an accountant, be a lawyer, be a doctor, whatever you want to do, you can do it. And I don't care, what race or color you are. It doesn't have anything to do with it. Black, white, red, yellow, purple, you can do it. Doesn't matter. It just depends on what kind of worker you are, what kind of, sense of integrity, dedication, initiative, all the things I've been talking about. I had a poem I memorized about this years ago. Let me see if I can remember it. I'm not even joking. I had a poem. Let me see if it's come back. Somebody said that it couldn't be done, but with a chuckle, he replied that maybe it couldn't, but he wouldn't be one to say so until he tried. So he took off his cap, he took off his coat. Without any doubt, Kay did it. I think that's the word. He started to sing as he tackled that thing that couldn't be done, and he did it. There are thousands to tell you that it cannot be done. There are thousands to prophesy failure. There are thousands to point out one by one the dangers which wait to assail you. Just take off your coat, take off your hat, get down to work and get to it. Start to sing as you tackle that thing that can't be done, and you'll do it. I can't believe I remember that poem. I memorized it like 28 years ago. Still in my mind. It took me like 5 tries to get it right. I think that's it. Yes, naysayers. And they may come from very unexpected quarters. Here comes another story. Okay, I had that 1966 bug. Total thrasher. I had visions in my mind of fixing this up. I wanted to make it a cow-look Volkswagen. You Volkswagen guys, VW guys know what I'm talking about. Back in the 80s, it was huge, man. Getting an old bug, chairing it out, lowering it, putting one-piece windows in it, dropping it, and making it into a cow-look bug. I had visions of it, man. And I told my dad this. Surprisingly, my dad was not supportive. He wasn't. I'm not going to, and I don't mean portray in this series or any of my other videos that my dad and I were like, like this. There are times we're butting heads, man. That's normal. Your father and you just probably won't see eye to eye. And Cheetah, by the way, that was the name of my VW. That's because I covered the front seats in this fake cheetah skin when it was all thrashed. Serious. He didn't like it. He's like, you know what? You'd be better off driving that thing off a cliff and getting another car. He did. And I was like, no, Dad, I'm fixing this thing up. Someone's saying to me that it cannot be done. It's my own dad. Totally unsupportive. And I had visions. I was like, no, I'm fixing this thing up. And I knew it. And there are a few problems. Like there always are. There's always going to be problems. There's always going to be obstacles for you to achieve what you want to achieve. For me back then, one of my biggest ones was money. I didn't have a lot of money. Well, I still had visions. I had to learn how to do it all myself. I completely reupholstered the interior by hand myself. I might have a picture or two, and I'll show it to you. A series of pictures of me working on Cheetah. And I did all the work myself. I learned how to do it. I poured over, Hot VW's magazine. I learned the skills that I needed to do. I am rather handy, with wood, metal, and stuff. That was a gift that I kind of inherited from my dad. Did it all, We welded all the holes up. If I couldn't do the welding, I found a friend that could. I found a friend to paint. I earned the money. I was working 2 jobs. I was working Sundance and I was working Albertsons as well. So I started pulling my money. And dude, I have to tell you, through a lot of work, sweat, and toil, I transformed that car. Check it out. This is Cheetah after my work at age 17. I think I was 18 by then. I don't know. And that thing was cherry. For back in 1980, was it 384 time frame? Yeah, dude, it was pretty awesome. I loved it. And I will tell you, the naysayers, they had a cup of shut the heck up when they saw that thing drive down the street. Some of them were my neighbors. Were like, dude, that BW sucks. You should throw that thing off the cliff. I think your dad's right. Here I come driving down when it's all painted. That Porsche guards red. I had a single piece fiberglass front end, single piece windows in there, tinted, stereo. The interior was totally cherried out. Granted, it wasn't quite to the level I wanted because money was a limiting factor for me. But as far as I could get it off my limited budget, in other words, I didn't have money for good rims, so I painted hubcaps, which actually looked pretty good. It was pretty cherry. I bought the thing for $800. I sold it for $2,600. Do the math. Pretty good. That's because I blew off the naysayers. One of which was my dad. Hey, you can't get there from here, dude. There's no way you're going to be able to accomplish that. Stick to your guns, man. Believe in yourself. Believe in the vision. And apply yourself. And I can't tell you how much hard work that took. I cannot even tell you how many hours I put in. And that was one of my dad's contentions. He's like, well, the time you're putting in this VW to fix it up, you could get a minimum wage job and you come out ahead. And that's true. And I'm going to depart here in the lessons of my father. Whole theme. He was wrong in one thing. A big thing. And that is, again, getting back to the mark of excellence. Okay, the sense of satisfaction that I felt as a young man transforming this car that was nothing, that was ugly, into something remarkable. I can't tell you what a sense of satisfaction that was. It was almost spiritual for me. I'm not even kidding you. And my friends, I had a girlfriend at the time that broke up with me, and when she was with me at the time, my car was all thrashed. I was like, yeah, one of these days I'm going to fix up this car. And it's kind of like, I don't know. It's just one of those things, And she's like, yeah, whatever. That sounds cool. She didn't believe me. And she'd already broken up with me, and she comes down my street one day, and I'm out, like, totally waxing Cheetah. Cheetah's hot looking back then. She's like, what? It's like, yeah, I told you. It's good to do what you say you're going to do. It builds a sense of confidence in yourself. And just because you come from lowly economic circumstances, don't think you can't achieve great things. Let's go back again, and I have on the table another example. You can take something that isn't worth anything, and through the miracle of hard work and a little bit of vision, transform it into something fun, something cool. What am I going to show you? How about a toy I made when I was age 15. Here it is. And this is, I'm not even kidding you, I still have this. My boys play with it, they love it. Made out of wood, it cost all of about $2 to make. This is the Pegasus ship that I made for my little brother. Yes, the same one who died of scarlet fever. But he and I played with this thing forever. This is made out of 2x4 plywood back in the early 80s. You can see the conning tower. The missiles are ripped off. That actually had some Rapier missiles on it. There's a 40 millimeter gun turret on the top with some sandbags, 1/72nd scale. There's a missile up front, gun turrets, front and back. Yeah, I was into the gun stuff even then. The Pegasus ship, all of $2 worth of scrap wood, if that, several, if not many hours of work, and I created something cool out of nothing. I can't tell you how much fun my kids have had with this ship growing up, just like me and my little brother did. You see a little tank fit on there, there's a Russian BMP. I know it's a stupid example, but is it really? Because it illustrates a point I'm telling you about, that you can take something, apply good work to it, and make it into something cool. How about this? Because I had success, and by the way, here's another concept, success breeds success. I made the Pegasus ship when I was age 15, I was like, that's pretty cool. I like that. You know, it's got the sloped armor on the gun turrets there. I think I'm going to apply that to a better ship. I made this one. This was a successor. Still have it. My boys love this. It's kind of beat up. It had a 20 millimeter Vulcan cannon here. It's got a 40 millimeter gun turret on the front. Yeah, I made this when I was age 16, dudes, when I was living in Alabama. This is aluminum tubing I got at the hobby shop. I don't know if I'm showing it good. The whole concept with this, and there's some A10 engines off a 1/72nd scale monogram kit, some wings. It had like turbojet motors to go in the, it was like a riverboat in Vietnam. Check this out. 40 mil, I hope you guys aren't laughing. You probably just think this is ridiculous. 40 mil gun turret in the back. Check that out. The guns have been busted off this one. There's actually two 30 mils coming out of here. This is the ammo box for this. This is a guiding radar. Anti-aircraft capable. Here's the rope on the side. Lots of detail. That's right, age 16 I made this. Still have it. Shadow grass camouflage. This wing on this side's busted off. I was going to put it all back together for the vid, but maybe later. There's a winch at the front. 1/72nd scale. How much wood did that cost? $1. You know, with the other materials I went to the hobby shop, maybe $3. What transformed that into something cool that my little brother and I, and that now my kids played with, and now it's a treasured heirloom? Work did it. Concept of work. I can't tell you how it will transform your life if you can be a good worker, have some vision, and be able to achieve your vision with work. And by the way, those two things go hand in hand. You know, you can't be a dreamer, you know, and say, well, I really want to be a pilot one day. I would love to be a pilot. You know, I can't tell you all the people I meet in life, they always tell me that, oh, I always want to be a pilot. Why didn't you be a pilot? Well, you know, it didn't work out. There's lots of good reasons. I'm not saying there aren't. A lot of them are physical. Their eyesight's bad, whatever. But, you know, a lot of them just gave up. They gave up on their dream. They just didn't want to do it. It's hard. There's a lot of obstacles for you to achieve the thing that you want to achieve. Whether it's the job at Sundance, people telling you can't get there, you're too young, you're not qualified. People tell you you're too dumb. You know, you just got to believe in yourself. Press on. Ignore the naysayers, and you can achieve a certain amount of greatness in your life and have that sense of satisfaction. Another concept in your road to becoming an awesome worker is be accountable. Okay, have a sense of integrity, of honesty in your work. This might be one of the hardest things for a lot of people to do, but that will always pay off in the long run. In the short run, it might not. You may say, well, how is this person getting ahead? He always lies about his work, and everyone thinks he's so awesome. We all know people like that. They seem to skate through life, and they're thought of as these awesome people, when in fact, we know the real story. They're not awesome. They're shirking their jobs off on us. They're lying. They're taking credit for other people's work. I have seen that. It will continue. Nothing will change. However, it will catch up with them. It always does. And they will not be able to defeat the laws of nature. And the laws of nature say that if you're a crap worker, it's going to catch up to you sooner or later, sometimes sooner. That shouldn't affect your approach to your work. As an employee, let's get back to the employee side. If you're an honest employee, again, you will stand out from the field of other employees which are not honest. You know, they're trying to nickel and dime their employer, trying to get away with nothing because again, perhaps due to their upbringing, the society we have, the media culture we have, they're indoctrinated with the idea that they're entitled to things that they do not earn. You aren't. You know that you need to earn them. But blow that off. Be accountable. Have the buck stop with you. You're going to screw up too. There will be mistakes that you make along the way. And just own up to them. If you have a good reputation, you have a mark of excellence on your work, I guarantee you, you will be able to weather those experiences. No problem. Another story. You guys are going to dig this story. Going back to Alabama, I was a busboy at a very fancy restaurant. It's still there as far as I know. It was called The Pillars in Mobile, Alabama. Yeah, I partially grew up in Mobile. Excuse me. And man, I was really stoked to get that job because this was just, I forget how old I was, probably like, I don't know, 14 or so. And, you know, I was poorer than poor. My mom was poor. I was living with her. And we didn't have money, so for me to get any job was like, whoa, I have a paycheck, you know, money to spend. It was cool. Worked hard at the Pillars and really applied myself. And at the time, the manager there, his name was Mickey. And Mickey was a great dude, man. I remember he had a cool Corvette. He and I used to get along great. I showed up on time. I worked hard. I tackled those dirty jobs that no one else to do. I made a reputation for myself as a very reliable employee. And Mickey loved me. We got along great. Other employees liked me. It was a great time. One night, by the way, you have to understand, the Pillars was like a 5-star Southern dining place. And it's a converted Southern mansion, granite floors, pillars out front, hence the name. And I'm sitting there as a busboy helping the waiters, and my job was to clean the tables as soon as they got dirty. And so I have a bus tub stand that I'm cleaning tables with. Well, we had these extraordinarily expensive crystal wine glasses there on the table. Okay? And I'm like cleaning these off, and I'm a little distracted because on the table next to me is this beautiful woman. I'm just telling you straight, man. She had a low-cut dress, and I'm like, whoa. And I'm like looking at her, not paying attention to what I'm doing. I'm stacking this bus tub with these crystal wine glasses. I got like 30 of them, and I wasn't watching. The bus tub is slipping off the stand. I'm like, whoa, dude, she is so hot. The bus tub falls off onto the floor, which, by the way, is marble, shatter into a million pieces. The whole restaurant stops, like something you see in a movie. Everyone's like, I see Mickey from the back come out. He walks up to me, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm fired, man. It was fun while it lasted, I guess. I just cost him. I mean, those are crystal wine glasses. I probably cost him, I don't know, back then, a couple $100, $300. Mickey comes up to me. I'm leaning down. I'm trying to pick glass up. He goes, dude, don't worry about it. I was looking at him too. Mickey, you rock. I don't know where you are now. Oh, what a great boss Mickey was. Why did he do that? Because he knew I was a good employee. Okay, mark of excellence, integrity. They will let you make mistakes. Don't worry about mistakes. Be honest with them. Own up to them. If you screwed something up, apologize. Take credit or take blame for it. I'm saying, boss, I'm sorry. I know you wanted it done this way. I screwed up. I did it that way. I promise you I'll do better next time. People make mistakes, and people, when they own up to them and they're honest and forthright, they're respected for doing so. Don't try to cover it up. Don't try to steal from your employer. Be honest with them. Again, you'll set yourself apart from the crowd. Man, there's so much more to talk about. Lessons of my father. Workers are few. They are few. All the things I'm talking about, there's such a minority of people that get this, that if you can integrate the lessons I'm talking about, put them into practice in your daily life, man, it's gold. Again, the things, be reliable, have honesty, integrity, ignore the naysayers. The naysayers are always going to say you can't get there. Blow them off. Expect a progression of trust. You're not going to start out as a CEO. You're going to start out as a dishwasher, probably. You got to earn trust. It's not given, it's earned. And then preserve it as you move up in ranks. I'll tell you, if you're a great dishwasher and you're tackling those dirty jobs no one else to do, you're going to get promoted. It's inevitable. Because the manager's going to come back and go, whoa, dude, that guy rocks. That girl rocks. She's a great waitress. She could be a good head waitress. She can schedule people because she gets it. And because she gets it, she can train other people to be like her. See how that works? Always works that way. Don't make your primary motivation money. As counterintuitive as it sounds, don't do it. Okay? Make it that you just want to do a job well done. That's what you see me doing in YouTube. It ain't for money. I already have jobs. I don't need YouTube. Surely doesn't pay the bills. I go in the red for the money I make here. That's not what motivates me. What motivates me is a creative process, helping thousands of people around the world. That is rewarding for me. Creative process, and one that I put my name on. Right there. On every video that I can be proud of, and I can say, I'm proud of that. Be proud of your name too. And expect to work hard. Work smart, work hard, but hard work won't kill you. I mean, my dad made sure that we knew how to work hard. I remember one summer, he sent me down to Georgia to a dairy farm with one of his friends. That's right. He's like, you know what? I think you'd really like the dairy farm down there. I was like, I don't know. Bam, I'm at the dairy farm, working a whole summer. Working in chicken coops, milking cows, slaughtering chickens, cleaning up manure, mending fences. You know what? I loved it. I loved the farm life. It was awesome. I was out in the afternoons hunting quail with a shotgun. It rocked. And yeah, it was hard work, but it was also very rewarding. I value those experiences. Thank you to Dad for teaching me how to work, for teaching all of us kids in my family how to work, and it's paid off. Lessons of my father, you bet. Knowing how to be a good worker, worth gold. I hope this helps. This is Nutnfancy, another life philosophy video. Thanks so much, guys, for the support. Check you later. It's June 7th, 2010. I'm up at Sundance filming some TMP footage. Stock footage of scenery, just whatever I need. I'll be telling the story of Workers Are Few, Lessons of My Father. I need some footage for that about Sundance, so here I am.
Well, it's hard to believe it sometimes, but everything's gonna work out fine. Well, it's hard to believe it sometimes, but everything's gonna work out.